Hello everybody and welcome back to the course. Today we're going to be doing lesson 4 out of 15 on subject-verb agreement. So, what do you need to know? First, you're going to need to know how to identify the subject of the sentence, which is the thing that's being acted on by the verb. We're going to go more into this on the next slide. We need to know what a preposition is. A preposition relates to the subject and the verb. Knowing what this is can make it a little bit easier to identify your subjects and your verbs so that you can answer the question better. And of course, non-essential clauses. Non-essential clauses are clauses or information that isn't important. You'll see what we're going to do with those later. So, identifying the subject. The subject is the thing that is being acted upon. It can be identified if you think about what exactly is acting or being described. You can also identify the subject if you can see what the sentence is talking about, and practice makes perfect, right? So let's try some things. Here I have underlined the verbs, and we're going to look for the subjects, okay? So let's try this one here. The kids want to go to the store. This one is going to be pretty easy. Obviously our subject here is the kids because the kids want to go to the store. So we know that the kids is the subject here. The truck is loud and drives quickly. So our subject is the truck because it is the truck that is driving quickly. Let's read this one. Despite need for cleaning, reusable coffee filters prove to be utilitarian. So let's think. What exactly is proving here? Not cleaning, but reusable coffee filters. That would be our subject. Pure water seems to not satisfy thirst as well as other drinks. So what doesn't satisfy? Well, pure water. It's not other drinks, it's pure water, because we're talking about pure water here. Let's try the next two. These ones are a little bit trickier. We'll have to think more critically about these. The Christmas season represents a period of joy for many. Regular toys become magical with a touch of holiday spirit. What would be the subject here? Well, we're just looking for what is becoming, okay? Because we've already identified our verb here, so we're just looking for what is the verb talking about, or what is the verb addressing, and that would be regular toys. It wouldn't be the Christmas season because the Christmas season, this sentence is completed here. Eating new foods proves scary to many. However, trying new foods every now and then allows you to discover new things. Okay, so what is allowing you to discover new things? Trying new foods. This doesn't seem too hard, right? If you just follow the process, you'll be able to identify the subject with relative ease. Let's move on. Prepositions. Prepositions can help you identify the subject of a sentence easier because they can link the subject to the verb by describing a noun. And once again, these are the prepositions from the earlier slide. And here I've made a sentence using each one of these prepositions here. So we have the markings on the wall from her dog were obvious. From is the preposition here. And it helps you identify that the markings is the verb because the markings from her dog, right? The markings were from her dog. Curious to what it was, she saw the green sludge coming out of a hole. Here the preposition is of, and what is coming out of the green sludge? That would be your subject. Tragically, the dog was left in the car. Terrible, right? But what was in the car? The dog. That's our subject here. And you can try the rest for yourself and see if you have some practice. I'll just tell you what they are right now. Here, this one is a clue. This one is the jump. This one is his education, and this one is the homework. Let's move on. Non-essential clause. This one we can do relatively quickly. Non-essential clauses are bits of information, usually surrounded by commas or dashes, and right here underlined is actually a non-essential clause. You see how it's surrounded by commas or dashes, and it serves no purpose other than to add information. So if we were to remove this underlined sentence here, the meaning of the sentence would remain the same. It wouldn't really change what the sentence is trying to get across, the idea that it's trying to get across. Non-essential clauses are bits of information which serve no purpose other than to add information. See, they can be removed and the meaning of a sentence will remain the same. So sometimes these clauses are put in here to distract you from the subject and the verb by putting distance between the two. But if you can get rid of that and the sentence remains the same, it makes it a lot easier. So let's try this. Lifting weights, despite being very tiresome, can bring many outside benefits. So if we just get rid of this, we can see lifting weights can bring many outside benefits. It makes obvious that lifting weights is the subject here. And you can just take a look at these two as well if you need some help with non-essential clauses. But let's go straight into our examples. Which choice completes the text so that it conforms to the conventions of standard English? This is the prompt you're going to get when you get one of these types of questions. So let's read the question here. In the historical novel The Surrender Tree, Cuban-American author Margarita Engel uses poetry rather than prose, blank, the true story of Cuban folk hero. Don't know how to say that. But I do know how to answer this question. So let's look here. So the verb is going to be some conjugation of tell or tells. Okay. And we see here that the subject is Margarita Engel because the verb here is going to be describing what she did. So Margarita Engel uses poetry rather than prose to tell. Okay, that's going to be our verb that's agreeing with the subject here. Margarita Engel uses poetry to tell. Okay, because Margarita Engel can't use poetry to tells, because this does not work. It's not grammatically correct. Neither are the other two. So it's going to be to tell. By bringing out decorations such as happy gingerbread men and colorful candy canes, the idea of Christmas being a joyful holiday is blank through the participation in standard decoration traditions. So we can see here that the verb is going to be some conjugation of reaffirm, but which one would that be exactly? So we need to identify our subject here. So we can see that what is being reaffirmed, not Christmas, but the idea. The idea would be our subject here. So we can just shorten some of the extra stuff in the sentence to make it a little bit more straightforward. We can take out some of the information that is not completely necessary to understand the sentence, like the idea is what? Through the participation in standard decoration traditions. That would be B, reaffirmed here. Because the idea is reaffirmed when you put up the traditions. It's not reaffirms, because reaffirms would be something that's actively happening. So we know it's reaffirmed, not reaffirming, because it's not actively happening. Reaffirm is something in a different tense. Let's move on to the last example that I have for you today. The period known as the Market Revolution in the United States was categorized by the linkage of the Western agriculture with Northern industry. It is believed that commercial agriculture's expansion into Western territory led to blank of the Northern industry due to more production of raw material. So what would be the subject here? So we can see that our verb is going to be some form of consolidate, and the subject, what is being consolidated here? Commercial agriculture, right? Because you can consolidate commercial agriculture, and when we say what is being consolidated, we're talking about commercial agriculture here. So we know that this would be the subject. Now we know what the subject is, we can look at what the verb would be based on the tense of the subject. So commercial agriculture's expansion, we can cut out into Western territory. We can just say commercial agriculture's expansion led to consolidation of the Northern industry, because this is something that happened in the past. Okay, consolidates refers to something that is happening actively, and consolidated isn't correct here because we're talking about what it led to, consolidation. It doesn't say commercial agriculture's expansion consolidated. It says commercial agriculture's expansion led to consolidation. So we know that A would be the correct answer here. If you're having a little bit of trouble determining what the conjugation of your verb here would be based on the tense of the subject, that would be a little bit more of a grammatical intensive explanation, which I'm not doing in this video. So if you need help with that, or maybe you're not a native English speaker, it would probably be in your best interest to find another video for that. I might make a video on it sometime in the future, but not in this video. This is just to give you a little bit of tips, right? So let's look over the final idea here. We need to identify the subject and the verb. Remember, the subject is what is being acted upon. So think about the blank space there, right? What the verb might be, but even if you don't know what the verb is yet, you can still tell what the subject will be, because what is the blank referring to? That's how you can determine what the subject is. And of course, cut the clutter. If there's stuff in the way, it might confuse you a little bit. Just take out the stuff that you don't need, and you'll be able to find the subject much easier. Okay, so thank you for watching this video. Of course, practice makes perfect. You must practice this one a lot to really get it down to a science. And please subscribe. It helps me make more free videos for you all. And good luck on your SATs in the future.